Okay. What's up, guys? I'm on here making another YouTube video. I promise that there will be more uploads, and I'm going to deliver as best as I possibly can. Come into every video with a new energy, because that's what you need in video. Okay. Getting the first bit of news out of the way. The Pittsburgh Steelers have reported. It is reported and said by Cam Sutton's agent that he will be signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know a lot of people will have a lot of anger probably towards this or towards this signing because of his domestic violence uh, case. Well, I'm I'm gonna say I'm not surprised that that are going to be signing him, because if any of you know now, if you look at our depth at cornerback, it is not the best right now in terms of experience, and he has already. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. He already has experience in the defense, so it wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised if he came in and left off right where he was when we let him go to free agency. And I'm glad he's back. You know, when he was playing with us, he was one of our very few corners we drafted that turned out just the way we wanted him. And if you pair him beside Joey Porter Jr., and even possibly a Beanie Bishop or a Corey Trice Jr., if that all goes to plan, that'll be fun to watch. Uh, I'm happy about this sign. The reason being is that there's not very much out there in the cornerback free agency. I would have no doubts about that. You had the choice. It was either probably Patrick Peterson or Cam Sutton, and whoever else. I probably couldn't even name one. But with this signing, it makes it more evident that they want to make sure that that position is in good hands. You know, like our offensive line. Our offensive line right now is fixed. It is fixed. It is something we've been absolutely just putting on the back burner for so long, because it was never that way when Kevin Colbert was there. He never drafted the right players. And once he stepped down, Omar Khan came in, and look at what he's done. His first year as GM, he drafts Broderick Jones. He's even said he's eventually going to be the left tackle. He don't know when that'll be remaining in the future. I'll say at some point this season, not that long. Uh, yeah, last year he ended up drafting Broderick Jones, Keanu Benton. I mean, dude, the list goes on about how good he did. Nick Herbig. Um, Jesus, man. Darnell Washington. We needed uh, a blocking tight end. We needed a blocking tight end to be able to help in the run game, because that's what we want to do. We want to pound the rock, go upfield, and get the big yardage. Now, I'm going to say the more first and tens and stuff like that will go to Jaylen Warren, and then the ones that ain't really that big of a gain, it'll go to Najee. Like instead of doing what they've done in past years, and they finally did what us Steeler fans have asked them for, is to make sure you don't thread the tires or freaking wear out the tires on Najee. You brung in Warren his rookie year, signed him as an undrafted free agent, and thus we got the 1-2 punch at running back today. Najee with his power and just his athletic ability to jump over people, which he kind of chilled out on, which I'm glad, But yeah, a lot of people would disagree with me on this, but Najee is kind of like, they like to compare him to Derrick Henry. I see him more in a role as a Marshawn Lynch type player. I'm not comparing him whatsoever to how Marshawn Lynch played. I'm just saying, look at how he models his game, and you'll see the similarities of Marshawn Lynch and Najee Harris in that category in terms of play style. What did Marshawn Lynch do? He jumped over the offensive line. What does Najee do at the goal line? He wants to jump over the offensive line to get a touchdown. Marshawn Lynch didn't have a problem stiff arming somebody into the ground. Najee Harris would do the same thing. Marshawn Lynch fought for extra yardage even when he was not getting blocks and still was able to bully people. Sorry about that. Bully people. Najee does the same thing. It's not comparing career wise. It's comparing play style on how they are. And it's not that far off, really. Not saying he did everything that Lynch did, but still. But anyway, Cam Sutton is going to be signed with Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what his agent has said. And if you see number 20 out there, then you'll know exactly who it is. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens this season. I think Cam Sutton will come in and he'll do what Cam Sutton will do. Now, whether that's making big plays or if he just, for some reason, craps the bed, you don't know. But, yeah, that ended up happening. He's going to end up signing a contract. It hasn't been official yet, but his agent did say he's planning on reuniting and signing with the Steelers. So expect that, and don't be shocked by it. And now I know a lot of people, like I said, will hate it, understandably so, because of the situation that's going on right now. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch, to see what he does if he ends up where he left off in Pittsburgh, where he had that great year in 2022, I think. 2021. Yeah, 2022. Then he entered free agency, went to the Detroit Lions, which, of course, we all know how that ended up. He was doing a good job, and then domestic violence stuff popped up, and after the season was over, this would be after the season. After Lions season was over, that happened. He moved in the wrong direction at that point. But, if he's willing to learn off of that and be like, I made a mistake, then there's nothing to worry about there. If he does it again, then there is, problem. But I don't think he'll get signed to a really big deal. I don't. I really do believe they should have signed him to a new contract when he was here because he proved himself. But that's just something that the Steelers don't do. But they knew that they were going to draft Joey Porter Jr. That's probably why they let him go. But just because you were going to be drafting Joey doesn't mean that you had to just completely let Sutton go because he was playing the outside. We went from Cam Sutton and how good he was to Patrick Peterson, who, face it, even if he wouldn't want to face it, he's what, 30? He's going to be 34, and we're looking at the future. You know, I'm not necessarily saying that Cam is the future at corner, but he can come in and he can help these guys get on track. He had no problem with carrying the corners on defense at times, and he not once complained about it. He kept to himself. He was like, I'm going to come in here and do what I do. And I guarantee that's what his attitude is coming into the Steelers. That's what it's going to be. Now that that's out of the way, the next thing I want to talk about is there are some Steeler fans that are upset that the Steelers did not go out and get a star receiver. Well, here's the thing. I knew right from the beginning, once it hit June, if they weren't making a move that day, and they weren't, they made one for a practice squad player. But it's not the end of the world. Just because you get these players, these star players, does not mean that they're going to do or turn this team into superstardom, this receiving room into superstardom. No shade towards, no bad anything, no bad talking towards like a Brandon Ayuk or a Deebo Samuel. But what I'm trying to say is, why not give these guys a chance? These guys we got now a chance. I'm not seeing why it's so hard to accept, hey, maybe we should give them a chance. Exactly. You should give them a fair shot at being the ones that can prove themselves on the team. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there was at times last season when Kenny was at quarterback, freaking Calvin Austin was so wide open, it's ridiculous. Even on one play, he was so butt naked open, he was John Cena. Instead of seeing Calvin Austin, Kenny Pickett saw John Cena. You couldn't even see him. John Cena with another reception, you can't even see the guy. But that was the problem with Kenny. It wasn't that he was a terrible, terrible quarterback. It was the fact that he couldn't improve on his playing. And if he has a good time or ends up doing good in Philly, great. Good for him. I'm happy for him. I really am. But once he heard that Russ was coming in, he was immediately like, nope, I don't want to do this. And that's a chicken shit fucking attitude. That's not football mentality. That's chicken shit mentality. Because he knew that coming into that, and they even told him, you were going to be the quarterback. You were going to have a chance to compete to keep your position. And guess what he doesn't get? He could have warned behind Russ. He could have warned behind him and seen how he should just slow down. And that was the biggest problem with Kenny Pickett, is that you couldn't... He looked good in preseason, and then he just fucking shits the bed with his ballerina twirl. Call it the Kenny Pickett dance. And yeah, we didn't have the best offensive line, but guess what? What happened when Mitch stepped in? Same thing happened with that happened with Kenny. He couldn't fucking hit the broadside of a damn barn if he wanted to. Just to show you guys, I'm not pale. This is the sunlight on my face. But yeah, I think it's just when you went from Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph, which Mason Rudolph I have no problem with. I wanted them to bring him back, but they didn't. But what's done is done. And he has no hard feelings towards Pittsburgh. He's even said he enjoyed being able to sit and learn. And when it's time for his number to be called, he came in and delivered with a very, big balls attitude out on the field. Now we went from that to, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Now, a lot of people crap on Justin Fields because of his play. I understand what a lot of people mean by his by his play. Sorry. His inaccuracy at times, he can't read a defense, and fumble problems. But those are very easy fixes that he's willing to work on. He's even said he wants to learn. He wants to learn. He doesn't want to sit around and just be the backup forever. And he wants to compete. And a lot of people forget. Mike Tomlin wanted Justin Fields in the 2021 NFL Draft. He went to his pro day specifically for Justin Fields. Now, what I see happening right now is that he's going to be more in the slash role. If you all know that, some of you don't. That was the Cordell Stewart QB package, and it worked. Now, why does that intrigue me for that to be brought in with the Steelers again? Is because you're keeping a defense guessing. Is he going to run or is he going to pass? That is what you need to do to make him feel more comfortable. Now, don't make it just him in packages. If he has a line around him and he can work on the little things that he needs, those little things, in all honesty, the fumbles, accuracy, reading defense, those three things can be easily fixed if he's willing to put in the work, and I do believe he is. Every Bears fan, or not every Bears fan, but some Bears fans will shit on him for, oh, this is what he did wrong here. Well, let me tell you a little spoiler alert about y'all's team over there at times. And only real Chicago Bears fans who are very down to earth and actually watches the games from last season and the past 4 seasons. Justin Fields didn't have any help. What, he had DJ Moore. Who else did he have? Cole Kmet? I don't even hear anything about that dude at all. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but you never hear him in that tight end category. You want to know why that Justin Fields got sacked a lot? Most of it because his offensive line couldn't block for him. You want to know why that he got pressured so many times and fumbled so many times a lot? It's because his offensive line wouldn't block. Now, I'm not blaming everything on the offensive line. He has fault in that too. He needs to work on that, and I know he will. But let's not pretend like he still isn't a very young quarterback that can still be a star in this league. And let's say, for instance, if it does work, we only traded a 6th round pick for him, a future 6th round pick at that. And if be this in mind, Bears fans, if he plays 50% of the snaps, you go up from a 6th to a 4th round pick. 4th or 3rd round pick. But if he doesn't play 50% of that, that doesn't go up at all. You just got a regular 6th round pick in 2025. We literally gave up pretty much a pack of peanuts for Justin Fields. And I know he can be good. I'm not necessarily on the hype train normally about him. But I understand when somebody comes into a new system, it can change a lot. Well, he won't last very long with the Steelers. You don't know that. You're just going off of the past experience with your team, which your team hasn't had a star quarterback in, 40, 50 years? If that. And I'm sorry if you think he didn't develop well, there's not much to say about developing when you guys start behind Andy Dalton, and at times it was Nick Foles. And yeah, Nick Foles has a ring, but above that Super Bowl run, where was there talk about Nick Foles at all? After that, what happened? He went to a different team. He did not have the same exact outcome. Prove me wrong. I'll wait. That Super Bowl ring that he had. And congrats to him on that. He deserves it. He won them that Super Bowl. But what happened after he left Philadelphia? He didn't have the same progression. He was jumping team after team, and be honest, is he even still in the league? I'm not shit talking. I'm literally just wondering if he's still in the league. And if he is, he's old. So yeah, you can take that how you will. Justin Fields did not have anybody to develop behind whatsoever. And they didn't have that mentality. When you compare Nick Foles and Russell Wilson, I'm picking Russ every day. Because he's even said, I want to come in and help Justin. He's even said he does better would benefit and cause damage to scare a lot of defenses if he was worked in that package. A lot of people running their dick lickers and stuff about this stuff, saying, that wouldn't work, why would you use that? Not every play is going to be the slash roll for him. He'll have plays where he'll be throwing it and hand it off to a running back. It's not just going to be that, and that's where you're mixing in your lack of knowledge for football and just outright what the fuck. Because you got to be able to keep it balanced. Justin Fields can do that, but you got to be willing to give him a shot. There's already Steeler fans that are happy to really see him here, and some not so much. But what are the ones that are judging him before the season even starts? What happens if he ends up being that quarterback for the future for us? what are they going to end up doing? They're going to end up jumping right on that fucking bandwagon of his nuts and riding it the whole way. Not saying it will happen. It's possibly it could not. You know, like I said, I'm not necessarily on that hype train about Justin Fields, but I was happy that they got him for much less, because there was a lot of talks that they wanted a first or second round pick for him, but nobody was budging and they weren't going to give up that much, not even a third or fourth. Pittsburgh gave up a 6th round pick in 2025 for this man. And Justin's making it count every chance he gets. He's in a new system. He gets a new beginning. And they did right by him. He said, I want to go to Pittsburgh and play. Ryan Poles, I believe is his name. Ryan Poles. Look at what we've done to the Bears. We've got their 32nd pick for Chase Claypool, who is now, I believe he's, didn't he just sign with the fucking Broncos or Saints or something? I know he was planning on going to the Canadian Football League. But anyway, we got Joey Porter Jr. Thank you, Bears. And now they give us another player that really there was a lot of Bears fans that wanted to see what he would do in the 2024 season with the Bears, with this roster they got now. But here's the problem. When you got Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, they're essentially the same quarterback. Just one has more improvements to the other. Not saying Justin doesn't have improvements, he does. But this was Bears fans in the 2021 draft after they drafted Justin Fields. Cloud 9. Winning Super Bowl. Already looking ahead to something they have no idea about. Here they are again. The same place with Caleb Williams. Now, you guys will more than likely have a better season. Possibly. But I'm not jumping ahead anymore with the Steelers. Because, like, for instance, if you go in there and expect them to, like you say, oh yeah, look at this in the preseason. Look how great this team looks. Yeah, versus practice squad rookies. And at times, future players. It doesn't take a scientist to figure that out. I did the same thing last year, like every other Steeler fan, with this offensive line and Kenny Pickett. Thought it was going to be finally a fucking offensive line there. Well, we were proven so fucking wrong it hurt. But I'm waiting until regular season to see what this line can do. Eventually, I do see Troy Futano. I believe that's what he said is how, or Futanu. Maybe I said it wrong. And I apologize for that. Don't attack me. But, yeah. I want to see what all these rookies can do. I want to see what Roman Wilson does beside a guy like George Pickens. Want to see what Calvin Austin can do. And a lot of you are going to be sitting here wondering, why are you excited for that? Well, guess what? So far, they've had that attitude that you can't just come in here every season and just be accepted for what you've got or what we've had. It's not going to win you a Super Bowl. Calvin Austin's got the mindset of he wants to win a Super Bowl. Maybe that happens. Maybe. But give these guys a chance and stop crapping on them so much, pretending like they had a fair shot when they did not. People want to say Calvin Austin's slow because of his injury. He just came back not too long ago, and he's even made plays at times on the field. So why can't you just let him play it out this season and see what could happen for these guys that keep in mind want to rebuild their careers? Calvin Austin still thinks he has something to prove. He does. Quez Watkins feels like he can be the number 2 behind Pickens. Another thing is, George Pickens is going to be covered a whole lot more than these other guys because he's the number 1 receiver now on this team. So what happens if they look more towards Pickens? The defenses look to guard more on Pickens. That leaves the other guys open and can move the ball upfield. That's what you're not putting together here. If everything works out, this team could go really fucking far. And that's even being a Super Bowl contender. Maybe not this year, I don't know. But when Omar Khan says that he wants to build, he wants to build a Super Bowl team now. And I trust him more than I would the fans on their Super Bowl or their superstar going and getting a superstar. Deebo Samuels, who gets hurt every year? When he's healthy, yeah, he's good. But who is getting more targets on the Niners? It's not Deebo Samuel. It's not Kittle. It is Brandon Ayuk. Deebo Samuels is lucky that he even finishes a full season. And that's the thing with the Niners. They may be good, but they're injury plagued. That's what the Niners are. They're injury plagued. You know, that's just, at times that's how it all goes. I hope they have a healthy season this year. I do. But they're also one of the teams that I consider very, 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 very overhyped. Because every year it's, oh, yeah, go Niners, we're winning the Super Bowl. You lost last year. Or you lost this past year. In fact, this past February. So, yeah. Not wrong. I'm just pointing out facts. Everybody wants to call Brock Purdy the future, which he is. But take away his weapons that he had. Did you see how poorly he played when Deebo Samuels, Ayuk, and stuff weren't there? Even Kittle and stuff wasn't there because they were injured. He wasn't looking like Brock Purdy that everybody knew. That's the biggest difference between a superstar quarterback and a superstar quarterback and a quarterback who can't, or in a superstar quarterback who can't get it done without his top guys. And that may be true, but when everybody starts saying, like, you hear a lot of people call him Big Cock Brock. I've heard that. It's funny, actually. That's real funny. But odd. It's kind of odd to call a man that, but, to each his own. Anyway, all jokes aside, I just think give these guys a chance. Give them a chance to prove themselves. Give them a chance to go out on the field and show what they can do and show off their talents. Because it's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do to get that victory. It's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. Famous Mike Tomlin saying, and it's true, it's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do to get the victory and walk out of there as the winner. And that's what the Steelers continue to lack every year is leadership. We haven't had a leader on the QB side of things since Ben. I'll wait. Prove me wrong, I'll wait. But yeah, I'm not coming on here to be a troll or anything. I'm not. I'm just speaking the brutal, honest truth. If anybody actually thought that they were going to go out and pull off this big move for a superstar receiver, I would more say that they had a better chance to get Cortland Sutton than any of the other receivers. Hell, Hunter Renfrow was still there. But yeah, it doesn't mean that they didn't look at those guys. It's just Omar Khan believes that this team right now has the receivers on it. It's nothing to be worried about, really. I mean, give Calvin Austin a chance. He will surprise you. But anyway, I gotta get off here and help with food bank stuff. Bring in food from the food bank. Hope you all enjoy. Like the video. 100 likes and 100 subscribers in 2024. Help me get there. I know you can. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.